What is going on? This is Headphones On, a podcast with my friends. Oops. Paused. Today we are going to be talking about online learning stunts literary growth through programs such as PowerPoint, Google Classroom, negatively impacts students' stimulation, networking, and judgment skills. With me, I have Jolene, I have Aaron Avant, Caleb Brownlee, and Christian Hofstetter.
Hey ho.
Hello, everyone.
Yep, hey.
Aaron?
So, to start us off, I'll go ahead and mention the differences in hands-on learning and online learning. So, for me, going into high school, that was like the height of COVID pretty much. And so, all of the learning we did that year was completely online. And
Wait,
go ahead, Christian. What was that?
when was that?
2020.
When I went into high school?
2020. It was 2020, year of 2020.
2020? I don't remember. See, and then moving on. So thank you, Christian, because I actually don't remember that year pretty much. So that online learning for me did nothing.
None of that.
I'm much more of a hands-on experience person. And I think for most people, it is actually easier to learn in environments like that.
The psyche
quote,
of it was really, really bad. It was pretty, both like educationally and now. It was kind of like it was really like a tarnished my mental.
And I think like for anyone, you have to have multiple forms of engagement to truly understand something. And so when it's all online, and
That's
it's
so
all on
true.
a computer
Mhm.
screen, you really can't engage with things properly.
So to reference Dutch Christensen's quote about psychological and cognitive responses in learners, they described a range of psychosocial and cognitive responses that explained their positive and negative attitudes to different aspects of the training.
And honestly, well worded.
I think that's really
the
deep.
training is a
Yeah,
the training is a reference. He did an experiment with this. High
Of
school.
course.
Yeah, it was high school
Obviously.
kids. But like, man, people were getting really depressed during COVID,
Oh, yeah.
especially while everyone was online.
I mean,
was
yeah,
bad
you're
mental.
less human interaction. It leads to people being feel like they're alone. You know?
What? Yeah, especially with that human interaction, because when you aren't able to engage with people like in person, it really changes how you make like simple friends. I know that there were certain classes that were online during that time. It was like my senior year, and I was super lucky to already have my close connections because in classes where I knew no one, I
Mm.
didn't get to know anyone because we
Mhm.
all sat there muted on the screen, listening or sleeping or whatever it was because there was no in-person connections with anyone.
Mhm. Yeah.
And then even when you did group up with people, it was just someone behind a screen. In the same way, like when you're driving, people are just cars. When you're online, they're just behind a screen. And so, I mean, I'm so sorry.
That's all he means,
No.
actually.
What's his name? I saw McNutley.
McNulty and Harriet.
I saw it, dude. I couldn't. Okay.
We'll cut that out. We'll cut that out.
Yeah, cut that out.
No
cut that out.
cutting, no cutting. This
No.
is Headphones On. Why would I cut that?
You're
This
right.
is raw and live. Can't cut that.
Can't cut that.
I mean, there was some findings that I believe his name is McNulty and Harriet, that they found on interpersonal skills and difficulty of acquiring them online. To quote them, they say this project's findings demonstrate essential interpersonal skills, namely communication and teamwork, were perceived as more difficult to acquire virtually compared with in person.
Oh,
And I think that's so true. Honestly, that's so
Mm.
true.
Taking
Oh, yeah, no.
taking networking between students out of the equation, like it's so hard to do that on online. People spent so many hours on Discord doing that, but
Yeah.
really it isn't like an in-person experience. You were completely just nerfing the networking opportunities.
And
No, that's very
TeamSpeak.
true. Yeah, TeamSpeak. Never forget about TeamSpeak.
TeamSpeak.
I think the distance,
Old man.
is a big thing. I know Christian touched on that for a moment. but taking the students out of school and putting them farther away from each other really makes it hard to keep students accountable for both paying attention in class and making those connections. I know personally I was not always the most honest worker during those years.
Yeah.
And
No,
who
I know.
was? And who was
And
really?
who was,
Yeah.
Who the
being
fuck
so
was?
far away from someone who could mediate and make sure I was understanding
you
the
accountable.
material, to keep me accountable really, really did affect my school. And I think, putting so much, reliance on technology really led to kind of a superficial understanding of all the materials that we learned. I feel like I only got a surface level of most of my classes understood before, man, it was on to the next thing. So
Yeah.
I feel like maybe if I had a hard copy or more stuff in person, that it would have locked better into my mind, and it wouldn't have been so, small and insignificant to me when I got new assignments online. There's a quote I really like from Heckle, and he says, "Achievement emotions are mediators between learners' appraisals and learning outcomes." And that's to say that when we get a little bit of joy from a small outcome, the small surface level learning, we never really dive into that deep level, and really understand the topic.
That damn
Mm,
fucking
that's
straight.
wasn't
like
wasn't
participation
Heckle.
awards.
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah,
yeah,
exactly.
yeah.
And I mean, we do the minimum amount of work because COVID was only supposed to be such a short time that, we never did the maximum. I think that limited a lot of students.
And the same thing for teachers. It really felt like during our little year of online, it felt like all the assignments were so easy. And they knew that we weren't going to be able to work with each other. And that we had access to all these things. It felt like they knew we were going to use these things, and so they never gave us any high effort work.
I actually, so I was taking an AP class. I believe it was either AP history or it was AP. Either way, it was AP class. I never once got an A in that class. It was always like mid to low B's. And I remember getting hundreds back to back when COVID came in because it was just one of those things. She would just give us random assignments and they were easy to do. And that was the first time I'd hit those grades within that class.
That's what's so weird is I think the last time I remember having that feeling was pretty recently while I was on Blackboard, as like getting back into Blackboard because we used to use the program for classes in high school. It really kind of brought me back to like using Google Classroom 24/7 as a real crutch for my classes.
Sure.
Yeah.
But you can also think about the benefits of things like Blackboard, because even if you might be learning less, it is really convenient to use.
Yeah.
Like in-person instruction, in my opinion, it is like a necessity though. You need sorry,
you really need the in-person connection.
you really need the in-person instruction, but Blackboard really does make learning convenient when you're trying to do it online.
Yeah. No.
I would say that another really important part of in-person learning would be the peer-to-peer interactions, because it really enhances literary growth.
No, yeah, that's really important. Seeing someone eye to eye and being next to them, builds
Absolutely.
those important connections, and I think that helps motivate students throughout school.
Mm-hmm.
And it's kind of funny that we're actually talking about all this. One of the great ironies is that we are all currently online,
While doing this,
and I being in a separate state as compared to y'all, whereas we already had in-person connections.
Yeah, we already had met
And
connected.
those in-person connections were actually strengthened by those online connections, whereas online connections can't be originally built up.
Yeah.
I mean, just to kind of go over what Tice was saying, and all of I feel like all of these different points that we made. Anyways,
I mean, yeah, we went over. We've been over the development
So
of
many
proper
different points at
simulation
this point, yeah.
simulation skills. We've been over networking, really nerfing networking between
Yeah.
students, and we've been over the judgment of like being online really kind of takes away all the backlash for
Doing poorly and
doing poorly.
not paying attention.
Oh yeah, and talk about doing poorly. Like when you have open discussions on hybrid like it's like one of the most annoying things y'all had mentioned Blackboard is
Yeah.
those when you post a comment and then you have to go through and reply 3 different
yeah.
times to like
Oh,
different
yeah.
things about those. That was the most annoying and like fake thing.
Because
I
you're not
felt.
even actually learning anything. Genuinely, you're
Yeah.
just
Yeah.
reading it and just making random comments. Is like that's what I would
Mhm.
do. It never felt genuine.
Yes, agreed.
I
that's-
think that's
that-
the biggest thing.
I will say, so kind of like how we built those connections in person and now we're online. One thing that I haven't seen enough of and I haven't experienced enough is that hybrid learning and like being in person and online. I know it for me. When I was in high school during that COVID era, I was online for X amount of time, and then after that, it was in person and only in person.
Yeah.
That's when my
So I
high
haven't-
school career started. I don't remember anything before that.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I
have
will
y'all had to
say
deal with that hybrid?
we did
did
have
some
a
hybrid.
short amount of time
did
where
a
we
little
were hybrid. We get maybe a once every 2 weeks to once a month where we would get a day that was
Yeah, they would
we'd
give
go
us days.
home and we would have online learning for that day. And I think it was a good break. I don't think we got it very
I
accomplished.
mean, it was
on
more
that
like a
day.
vacation day than
It was
anything
more
else,
on a vacation
to be
day,
honest.
Yeah.
Because the teachers would never give us real assignments. It was just you're home for the day, pretty much.
We got any final thoughts? Christian, you want to start us off? You got final thoughts?
I was thinking a lot the other day. So I wouldn't say I have final thoughts.
Oh no, yeah.
So,
I like to
again,
keep on
so
thinking.
Let's keep thinking about
Beyond.
this.
Yeah, I like
Okay.
to keep thinking. So I
Yeah,
never
no,
stop
I
thinking.
agree. You're
Never
more of a
stops.
look forward and
Yeah, I would never have a final thought.
yeah.
Well,
No,
I
I wouldn't expect you to.
Mhm.
Thank you to everybody. Big thank you to
Thank you for
Caleb
having
and
us,
Jim,
of course.
Aaron,
That was wonderful.
Christian. That was pretty awesome. First shoot. Listeners.
Not that we do
AKA my English professor. You should find these people in real life.
No, actually.
Please don't.
Yeah, please do. Please do.
I'm actually in the Balkans.
Jolene, you got final thoughts? Our judge.
Yeah, she's been keeping notes. She's been keeping
She's
notes.
taking the notes.
The notes
You
like
said
in
you said
a
that you were
court
gonna give us
case.
some
Stenographer
hmms,
notes.
some
Snaps everybody, snaps
If she
everybody.
had facts behind those heads,
Everybody
then
snap.
we
Thank you,
just would be better.
thank you, everybody. The outro music kind of it was in.
I got you.
It's almost 5 times the length, or not 5 times. It's almost 3 times the length it was supposed to be. So I desperately hope my professor enjoys 14 minutes of podcast.
That was 14 minutes. I was actually gonna play.
Are we off the
that.
air?
I enjoyed that.
Are we
No,
cut-
we're not,
are we-
we're not.
Are we off the air?
I still have to say. I still have to say. Oh wait, Buddy Holly's over. Oh well. Double outro song. We have been Headphones On. Wow.